Hello, you're watching Shalom World News. I'm Katie Asco from Dublin, Ireland, and these are your latest headlines from around the world. In a video released on Wednesday, Pope Francis called all people to mobilize to abolish the death penalty, announcing his prayer intention for September. The Pope said that the death penalty is morally inadmissible because it destroys life, and insisted that up to the very last moment, a person can convert and change. The Holy Father said that in the light of the Gospel, the death penalty is unacceptable because the commandment, "Thou shalt not kill," refers to both the innocent and the guilty. In the video produced by the Pope's Worldwide Prayer Network, the Holy Father proposes that the death penalty is not necessary from a legal point of view, and that society can effectively repress crime without definitively depriving offenders of the possibility of redeeming themselves. He concluded his message with an appeal for all people of goodwill to mobilize for the abolition of the death penalty throughout the world. Pope Francis prayed for Ukraine and recalled the 83rd anniversary of the outbreak of World War II during his general audience on Wednesday. The Pontiff said that the ongoing conflicts throughout the globe constitute a third world war, and exhorted believers to cultivate peace in their families as well as social and international life. World War II began on September 1st, 1939 and lasted until September 2nd, 1945. Turning his attention to the ongoing war in Ukraine, he said that today we are living through a third world war, one that is being fought piecemeal. He also prayed for Ukrainians, imploring Our Lady to support them in their daily choice of goodness, justice and solidarity with those in need. Pope Francis also called for peace, dialogue and fraternity in the wake of the violent protests in the Iraqi capital Baghdad over the last few days. The California Catholic Conference in the US has strongly opposed Proposition 1, which looks at enshrining protection for the most extreme forms of abortion in its state constitution. The Catholic Conference has said it believes in protecting life at every stage, adding that it is extremely troubled by the language in Proposition 1, which is very unrestrictive in encouraging late-term abortions, which are opposed by most Californians. The constitutional amendment as written would legalise and protect abortion up to the point just before the child's delivery. The conference said that the amendment asserts a new constitutional right for what it terms reproductive freedom. The conference also decried the fact that the state provides extensive funding for abortion procedures without any equitable funding for pregnant women and mothers. Catholic dioceses in the American state of Connecticut have condemned comments made by a public elementary school assistant principal about Catholics. The assistant principal admitted on a hidden camera that he discriminates against Catholics while hiring staff. Christopher Healy, executive director of the Connecticut Catholic Conference, said that the revelations of an official of the Greenwich School District discriminating against Catholics who seek employment should be treated as a serious breach of the public trust and state laws. Mr. Healy termed the discriminatory approach at Cos Cob Elementary School unacceptable and urged the school district and state education department to initiate a probe. The comments regarding Catholics and indoctrination techniques by the Cos Cob Elementary School assistant principal are vile, he added. In the US state of Indiana, the state Supreme Court has upheld the termination of a contract of a Catholic high school teacher for entering into a same-sex marriage. Justice Jeffrey G. Slaughter said the cathedral school was protected by the church autonomy doctrine under the First Amendment and was within its right to fire Mr. Joshua Payne Elliott. The doctrine protects the right of any religious institution to function autonomously without government intervention. This also includes the right to choose their members and employees. Except for Justice Loretta Rush, all others concurred to uphold the Catholic school's decision. Mr. Payne Elliott tried to sue the Archdiocese of Indianapolis after his contract was terminated in June 2019 because he married another man. He was working in the high school as a world language and social studies teacher from 2006 to 2019. A Myanmar think tank has revealed that government troops torched nearly 30,000 houses across the country during the past 19 months since it toppled the democratically elected government. Data for Myanmar said in a recent report that government soldiers torched close to 28,434 houses after the junta assumed control of the nation in February last year. The Sagaing region has endured most of the damage, where the number of known blazed houses stands at 20,100 153. In Magwe region, as many as 5,418 houses were destroyed by troops, and in the mostly Christian Chin state in the western part of the country, troops torched approximately 1,474 houses. All these places are hotbeds for clashes between separatist militants and government troops. Further fierce land and air attacks on these places have forced thousands to leave their homes and to flee to safer areas. In the United States, the US Department of Agriculture has altered a policy that would have forced Catholic schools that are part of the federal free lunch program to comply with the LGBTQ mandates of the Biden administration. The Biden administration had reinterpreted Title IX's federal prohibition on sex discrimination to accommodate sexual orientation or gender identity. On the contrary, advocates of religious freedom and free speech said that the change could be used to enforce new norms on hiring, bathrooms, and the use of preferred pronouns and dress codes. The new definition would have applied to the schools where the National School Lunch Program is being carried out. This federally funded meal assistance program provides subsidized or free lunches to more than 30 million students. It was feared that Catholic schools not adhering to the new mandates would risk being excluded from the scheme. However, the department has since issued a memo saying that the rule includes an exemption for schools on religious grounds if there is a debate between Title IX and the religious tenets of the school. Against the backdrop of bouts of violence in the capital, Chaldean Patriarch Cardinal Louis Raphael Sacco has said that fresh elections at the earliest are the only way to overcome the crisis in the country. Clashes broke out in the capital Baghdad after popular Shia cleric and political leader Moqta al-Sadr announced his resignation on Monday. In the violence, at least 30 people lost their lives and 800 were injured. It is believed that the situation would have spiraled even further out of control if Mr. al-Sadr himself had not appealed for restraint. Patriarch Sacco said that the Shiite cleric did well to condemn the violence and ask his followers to leave the green zone in Baghdad. He added that everyone has to make sacrifices for the nation and its people in order to find a peaceful solution. In Spain, a record number of pilgrims have visited the ancient pilgrimage site of Santiago de Compostela so far this year, where the sacred remains of the apostle Saint James the Great are enshrined. According to the Dean of the Santiago Cathedral, Father Jose Fernandez, as of July 25th, 200,000 pilgrims have visited the shrine since the beginning of this year. In January, 1,600 pilgrims visited the shrine, and the number has risen steadily ever since the easing of COVID-19 restrictions. Since 2021, the shrine has been celebrating the Jacobean Jubilee year, which was extended to 2022 because of the pandemic. Although a large portion of the pilgrims are from Spain, there are a substantial number from other parts of the globe, including South Korea. The pilgrimage to Compostela is the oldest in Christendom, and there are several intersecting paths across Spain and France that lead to the ancient shrine. Pilgrims undertake the arduous trek on foot and receive an indulgence after attending the Sacrament of Reconciliation and taking part in Holy Mass at the shrine. The fragile truce in Ethiopia's Tigray province is believed to have been violated as fresh reports of fighting between separatist Tigrayan rebels and federal troops emerge. On Tuesday, August 30th, rebel authorities report that aircraft belonging to the federal troops bombed the region's capital, Mekelle. According to a doctor serving at the Adair Hospital in Mekelle, the air raid resulted in victims arriving to the hospital from Tuesday night. Although they were almost outrun in November 2020 by the troops of the Prime Minister, the Tigray rebels launched a counter-offensive in the middle of 2021 and took over the entire region. They even came as near as the capital of Addis Ababa. Those are your latest headlines. Do join us tomorrow and visit swnews.org for more updates. Shalom.